Perfect. And to achieve this ridiculous level of gameplay, it's actually really easy. It all revolves around Fallen Sunstar, which is, this and Crown of Tempests have kind of duked it out since their release, since this one's release at least, and for which one is the best arc exotic in the game. And honestly, Crown of Tempest, it's good, but for melee, this thing, nothing can keep up. It's so good. The good old fashioned exotic perk here. Ionic Traces create move faster, give you additional ability energy, and nearby allies also gain ability energy. So I love this build just because we don't give a shit about our allies. This is for us. This is our energy, our abilities. We will be one-shotting with our melee. Let's go over our mods and stuff first, and then we'll get into the actual subclass itself. So, on the helmet, everything you can, as much melee as possible. Health doesn't matter in PvE. Weapons is a good second, but honestly, you're going to be getting all of your abilities back super quick. The stat doesn't matter for a cooldown. I run double hands on. A lot of the time I will swap this out, maybe for a strand siphon if it's something I need to use my sidearm for, if I need to use a different flavor of heavy for like match game or something, I'll, swap it up there as well. Gloves, double kickstart, heavy-handed is, again, just all the melee juice you can fit in there. Heavy-handed is great, sometimes buggy. The electrostatic, or the slide, the lightning surge melee. It's good, but sometimes it does not count as a melee in and of itself. It sometimes won't proc Swashbuckler or Pugilist, other things that tend to interact with melees. Sometimes it won't proc. That's just because the lightning damage gets the kill and the melee doesn't. Inconsistency, classic Bungie stuff. It happens all the time. Then again here, I'm just going for weapons because it's what I've got. More melee. Charged up. Very important mod. You can run 2 copies. I usually do. I was running, I think, dual destinies with this build on, and having stasis resist helps there a ton with the boss. Anyway, elemental charge. This is the most broken power-up on this build. Basically, you are constantly getting armor charge back for free. You don't have to pick up your orbs. You don't have to do any of that bullshit. Sometimes I've honestly thought about replacing stacks on stacks with another thing of elemental charge, or taking some of the melee energy off literally just to get another stack of one of these. It's a very good perk. It works great with arc traces, stasis crystals. Those are the 2 biggest things that are like really gonna break this mod. And then lastly, powerful attraction. It's a great mod. A lot of the time I just need, I don't use a lot of this garbage. I don't really have a difficulty getting any of this stuff up. Like, I'd make my build so that you do not need to use a finisher to get ammo or an ability back, because I hate slowing down. I hate ruining the fluid gameplay, making it slow. It's not fun. As far as weapons go for this build, the only one that matters is Delicate Tomb. You can swap this out with basically anything with Volt Shot. Any special weapon with Volt Shot that can apply any sort of arc debuff to enemies is really good. It works alright, but like, as you can see here, let's just use both of our abilities really quick, get amplified. Change to Cabal. Get some Cabal on the field. Watch how, creates 1 or 2. But if you hit multiple enemies, or if this applies Jolt, that kind of stuff, it really spreads, and it can make dozens of the little traces. It's awesome. You can swap it out with something else. I've been loving Theodolite, this arc, the micro missile. It's, baby version of Mountaintop, wherever mine might be. I would go for Eddy Current Volt Shot. I went through all 900 of my legendary marks this morning, and this was the best roll that I got. It does work decently. Here, we can show you again. Use all of our abilities. Oh, we're out of stuff. And then, use all your shots. It already made 2. That, another 2. We're getting our stuff back. Pick up those orbs, and, it loops so well with any arc weapon that can get bolt shot on it that really this build has no limit of what you can use in the weapon slot. Um, Delicate Tomb is going to be your most consistent way to get those traces. So this, when you collect an ionic trace, overcharging this weapon's next shot, jolting targets on hit. So you have the gun out, you get a kill, get that charge, you jolt. Makes more the traces, gives your ability back, juices up the gun. Great weapon. The catalyst, it's whatever. You don't really need it. I got it because I was hoping it would grant stats. This is my usual loadout for this build. Breachlight is one of the few kinetics that can run with Pugilist that feels good. When it comes to weapons, I don't know what it is. A huge amount of what matters to me is the sound and the feel of the gun, not necessarily the damage. The other thing is I almost always need some sort of refund trait on it or some sort of elemental debuff. I'm not much of a fan of like just bait and switch, just damage weapons. I love weapons that can get bonuses on them. Demo is the best perk in the game on special weapons. If you like throwing grenades, this gun, great choice. Awesome choice. Sometimes I'll swap it in when I'm like at the beginning of my run. I'll just run through with this, use it. It's fun, gives you your grenade back. It's great. I'm sure there's other melee weapons that have pugilist or other guns on it that have pugilist. Breachlight is my favorite. It feels good and it's got a good noise. Heavy slot, I tend to run Song of Uriut. There are a lot of choices that you could pick from. Hell, you could even toss on 1K. You could toss on your Apex Predator. There's just so much room for weapon that this build is just, it's amazing. Finally, we're going to get into our subclass here. I run Chaos Reach. And you can run whatever the hell you want. It does not matter. Same as abilities, it doesn't matter. You do need Chain Lightning on your melee. The Orb Lightning, not only will you accidentally throw it all the time, and then you'll lose your charge, and you'll have to go through that whole process again without being amplified. It sucks. But this also gives you a second charge. It's just really good. Pulse Nade, it's whatever. I just use it on there because I like it. Now we're going to get into our fragments. We've got beacons. This is just to make your thing make more traces because you'll see in a second. Defeating a jolted or, with bolt charge gives you an ionic trace. It just helps keep everything in position, and also, if they're blind, they can't shoot you. This just helps, it's nice. This helps you sometimes create an extra orb of light while you're in your melee a couple times. This straightforward spark of resistance just for damage reduction. Frequency is the only one that I've thought about swapping out, as well as... No, yeah, that's it. You could honestly swap out beacons if you're looking for something else, but none of these are insanely OP. The biggest thing that this build lacks is survivability. Hence the need for your Rift to come back up a lot. You're low health quite a bit with this build. And there's not a ton of ways to get that healing. That's why this right here, really important. I know it's not huge if you don't have a high health stat, but it's still just those few balls, those save you. But yeah, that's the arc lock build I have. I love this build. I made this maybe last week. This Breachlight was completely fresh, same as this Delicate Tomb, had maybe 1,000 kills on it. This build is phenomenal. It's good in lower and medium content. It's good in new raids if you're not the one who has to be main damage guy, if you're in charge of ad clear and just want something that's decent for damage. I do run Jolting Feedback Bait and Switch. It's not enhanced because I'm lazy. And I really like this combo. Jolting Feedback is great because with this setup, you can just lay into a boss. It doesn't matter. One of my favorite examples is the Fallen Saber Strike. you're fighting that shank, that big shank at the end, and there's all those little shanks flying around the room. You got the sniper ones and the explodey ones, everything. It's a nightmare to deal with. But if you have jolting feedback, you can just lay into the target because the chains will take care of all of the enemies in the room. It is a great option, and then bait and switch, obviously, just for damage. But yeah, feel free to give it a try. If you like it, let me know, and all the usual like, comment, subscribe, and all that, and I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.